It's all good. It's all good here, man. How are you doing?
Doing really well. Yeah.
It's good to see you. It's crazy times out there, but we're all thriving, right?
For sure, man. Yeah, just taking it one day at a time.
Yeah. So, but this is like, I mean, in a way, it's kind of your time now. You have the app, that's rolled out, and you're getting all these features in. So why don't you start with telling us a little bit about Entre?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, for us, it's we're already going in the direction of virtual and digital. So obviously, and tech is dominating kind of the economy right now. So for us, it's going to be working out really well. The event side of things. So for those of you who aren't familiar with Entra, we're a social network for entrepreneurs, investors, freelancers, and really the future of work. We kind of classify that as self-employed individuals. So, the event side of things, we were doing a ton of events, as you know, in New York and a bunch of other cities. So that shifted to online. But then in the background, we've been building our app to just connect everyone. So that's played out really well. So yeah, it's as an entrepreneur, and there's a lot of ups and downs, and you got to just adapt and move through things. So in one sense, we had to change up a lot of what we were doing with the events, but in the other scenario, we've really done well with the online space.
Yeah. I mean, I remember the events, and we joined you for some, and we worked on some events together. But you guys had it really hooked up. Like, you had events going on at Microsoft, WeWork, all the venues in Manhattan. You must be missing it, right? I mean, I miss it. I miss the after parties too, and all the good times.
Yeah, for sure. 100%. It's really starting to hit like now over the last month, for sure. Because I mean, I was in New York every 2 or 3 weeks. We traveling to some other cities. We did a few events out in California. We were planning to really ramp up California events this year in LA and San Francisco. So yeah, it's been weird for sure. I had postpone some trips and obviously some events and stuff, but I think we'll get back to them at some point, as soon as we can. We want to, for sure, because we really value human connection and networking. I think that's a huge part of what people are missing right now. So it's going to be great to start bringing people back together. But for now, it's just online, and digital, and we're trying the best that we can to do that.
Yeah, I mean, it has its pros and cons. I mean, online definitely has opened up the world. We're connecting with more people, and more people are getting access to quality events, right?
Exactly.
It's great, but we do miss I wish we can have a balance of both when the world comes back to normal. In this conversation, we're primarily focusing on how CEOs like you are marketing today. So let me start off with the branding part of your company. I've always felt like Entre is such a strong brand. You've always focused on branding, since the time I've known you. I always had like your T-shirts, your caps, your mugs, everything, and all the events. You do a really good job with that. So, how did you form, your brand voice, in the beginning when you started this company?
Yeah, I appreciate that. And for us, it's all about being branded as the entrepreneur company, right? Like when people think of entrepreneurship, startups, entrepreneur, when they think of those words, we want them to automatically think of Entre. So it's with our name, it's kind of like symbolizes this entrepreneur spirit and everything. And that's how we look at our brand. And there's some subtleties within it, like the end is, the end symbolizes the ups and downs of entrepreneurship. There's a lot of things that we do. And as far as branding goes, like more broadly speaking, it's giving people the sense that, hey, there is a place for entrepreneurs. It doesn't have to be lonely out there. It doesn't have to be as hard or as frustrating as it might be for many people. And there's a lot of struggles that entrepreneurs go through. So relating to them and giving them a common place to come together is the biggest thing for our brand. And we want to be the most supportive community for entrepreneurs. We want to be the most accessible community for entrepreneurs. That's why our platform's free and public. We want to be inclusive to entrepreneurs of all types. So those are some of the things that we're really thinking about as we, from the beginning and as we're continuing to grow our brand, and making sure our brand identity stays on that track.
Yeah, I mean, I can vouch for that you're doing all those things, because I met you when you were running Me Group, and I
Right.
was literally, I knew you when you launched Entre, so
Yeah.
it's been a while, but you guys have definitely very selflessly provided entrepreneurs like with a lot of resources right from the beginning, way before this app came out. So I'm really proud of you for that, for where you guys are right now. Definitely. Let me ask you this: like right now, when you're marketing yourself, it's so saturated since everyone is in this online space, and you're rolling out an app, and so many people are now rolling out apps. So you were already doing this. It's not something you didn't think of COVID when you rolled out an app. You didn't think of COVID when you were prepared for virtual events. You had to pivot a little bit, but you were prepared for it anyway. You were planning to do it through the app anyway, without COVID. So how are you marketing yourself today, and differentiating yourself? And also, as compared to before, how do you look at organic reach today? How important do you think organic reach today is versus ads?
For sure. So I'll answer the last question first. So organic is hands down always the best marketing strategy. If you can get organic reach, especially through Google, SEO, all of that, that is by far the best place to be. Free, because that's free traffic. You know what I mean?
Right.
And organic traffic is the best, 100%. So the problem with organic traffic is it's just highly, highly competitive. And this kind of goes into the first question and the broader question, which is how are you marketing? Because things are so competitive right now. Everyone and their brother's doing video content, all social content, live streaming, this, that. It's a mess. And everyone is fighting for attention. Everyone is doing all these things because no one has any other time to do anything else. Everyone's just like, hey, might as well do content and whatever. So the key to all of this is doing things different, right? Doing things unique, separating yourself in any little way that you can, and figuring out what do people want, right? What type of content do people want? What do people want just in general? And then testing things out and seeing what works and then doubling down on that. So for us, we couldn't do the same types of events that we did in person. We had to do different types of events. We were trying out a bunch of different stuff. We were trying out a bunch of different platforms, this, that, all of these different things to figure out what's going to be the easiest for everyone, what's going to be the best events to do, what are the best marketing strategies, what are the best channels, you know what I mean? So we've learned a lot, and we're continuing to learn over the coming months as we test out different marketing strategies. So like I was saying with the events, we've done different events now, and we're learning that, okay, people really like our pitch competitions, and they really like panels, and they really like networking and workshops. So let's focus on those, right? And our sponsors love those events too. So that's a win-win, right? The people like it, they're showing up more. We can make more money with them. So that's something. Then same thing with content. A lot of channels are completely saturated right now, and one of the best channels for us, and it's the best if you're just starting out, is hands down TikTok. If you can you can easily build a voice on TikTok now and a following on TikTok with really out anything, right? It's very hard to do that on other platforms. But TikTok, they kind of democratized content in the sense that every single video goes out to 100 people, and then depending on how people view that and like it and interact with it, then it'll go out to more people and more people and more people if it continues doing well. So everyone kind of has a chance to, make a viral video, which I think is really interesting. And I think, some other people are doing this too. But figuring out how you can differentiate yourself, do things unique, I think that's where everything's going. And right now, there's just so much competition in the content game that you have to try different things. You have to try different channels to make it work.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I can vouch for the fact that you guys have definitely A/B tested every kind of event by now in the last 2-3 years of events that I've seen. I mean, I've seen all kinds of. We've done the whole whiting and schmoozing and investor events and this and that. All kinds of events with all kinds of entrepreneurs and investors. And workshops too. So you guys have done a great job with that. My next question would be, and I love what you said about content and the way it's going, and I also agree that organic reach is the most important, but even without the ads, very expensive. I can see already that for a name like Entre, you already have Entrepreneur Magazine that itself is publishing so much content. So for you to then publish content and get found for that is a very difficult task, almost monumental, by producing written content. So you have to go to other channels. You have to do video and stuff like that.
Yeah, written content, you just have to do new things, get on them fast, and do very more like long tail keywords or things of that nature. But it's so hard because there's so many big publications putting out ridiculous amounts of content right now.
Yeah, and especially in your space, like that space.
Exactly. Business, entrepreneurship, startups, tech, it's completely flooded.
Yeah. Let me ask you this. What are you doing in terms of not like content for the purpose of reading or anything like that, but content for optimization? Like, are you doing any App Store SEO work right now, or SEO work for your website or your web app?
Yeah. So for us, how we set everything up was we have a blog on our site that's basically a subdomain. So we're still doing some of that. It's just, and it's getting some results and some things, but it's just tough. Like you said, our industry specifically is just tricky. We have to do things very unique. And our focus isn't too much on the blog. It's more on user acquisition. So it's just, let's get people in. And if they want to check out, and we link to the blog within the app and stuff too. So there's some part of that. As far as App Store SEO, we were very particular about when we launched the app, the keywords that were in there, the description, all of that, making sure that, on Apple and Google, we made sure we had all of those keywords and, kind of everything that we needed. We did some research beforehand on what keywords had really the highest traffic with the lowest difficulty of ranking. So those sorts of things, I mean, within a day, we were number one on Entrepreneur, or I think it was Entrepreneur Network. We were already within, the first week, we were the third result or something. So, certain little things like that have helped, I think. But again, it's just being consistent with it. And then, over time, as things build up and as more people start looking for this stuff too, right now, then we'll start getting found a lot more frequently. But it's definitely tricky. I mean, there's a lot of competition out there for sure. So especially with blogs and, for SEO and stuff, that's why a lot of people I've seen are doing some Medium writing and different types of channels as a way to grow their user base rather than just a blog.
Right. Yeah, definitely. I mean, it just depends on the industry, what's better. So for your space, would you say educating people or training people visually and training people visually is better than just through written content?
Yeah, I mean, we've definitely gotten heavy into video. We've always been more video than written, for sure. And it's also because of our events. We have so much footage from the events. We have so much amazing content from CEOs, investors, VCs. We have great speakers and we have a lot of content. We record everything. So we have literally hundreds and hundreds of hours of content that, we have, that we chop up, dice it up, and throw it out on social and different platforms and stuff. So we've definitely dove more into video for sure, than written, although there's a lot of value if you can do written well, right? For us, we saw more of the value in video than written, just
Yeah.
because there's less competition and higher chances of going viral and getting more views and more awareness that way.
Yeah. I mean, knowingly or unknowingly, you're always doing both because, you're writing emails and you're writing so much different kinds of copy. You're writing your ads.
Yeah.
So there's always that. Uh, but I guess my last question to you would be, do you think that as of right now, you're educating your audience more or entertaining them more? What is something you're doing more? Because right
Yeah.
now, a brand's authority in a particular space is correlated to how much they educate or entertain their audiences, right?
For sure. And I like the way that you put that. I think we're more on the education information side of things. I
Right.
actually want, like, for us, we're actually more trying to inform and connect people rather than educate people or entertain people right now. Obviously, there's a side of our events and app that is educational, and we want that. And same thing as far as, hopefully it's entertaining to keep people's interests, right?
Yeah.
So that's definitely part of it. As far as, our the point of the app is, we want this to be a place that entrepreneurs can call home, that they can check into and get all the information that they need, resources on a daily basis. We 100% want to get deeper into education and e-learning, but
Right.
when we
Okay.
do that, we want to really, like, dive into that deep, like actually build curriculum and, like, a legitimate program for entrepreneurship and business education, not just do, like, some online courses and some video content. There's a lot of opportunity in the coming years to transform traditional higher education, especially in the business and entrepreneurship majors,
Yeah.
because it makes no sense, right? Why are people spending $100,000 plus and 4 years of their life to learn from professors who have never even started a business on
Yeah.
entrepreneurship? Like, it doesn't make any
Yeah.
sense.
It
And the
does make
fact
sense.
that 70% of business students go into sales after college anyway, it's like, just let's have them start learning sales immediately and make money. Like, let's start, so yeah, it's interesting, right? And going to college is a great experience, and I think it's important for a lot of people, but a lot of times now it's more of a financial decision than anything. And so
Yeah.
many people are getting into heavy debt.
Yeah.
And it puts you in a burden forever. Like, for the next 40 years, you're just stuck in this place where you can't really do some of the things that you want. And I've seen it prevent people from starting businesses too. So because they have that, it's like, well, I can't quit my job because I have debt. Well, it's okay.
Yeah.
So now you're stuck. You have handcuffs. You've handcuffed yourself. So it's tricky. And so that's how we've been thinking about our content, more of the informative, but with some education, entertainment built in, and then later getting more into education as we grow.
Yeah. I mean, I agree with you, man. And with college, it's like, especially people that do masters in fields like marketing, they already studied marketing for 4 years and
Yeah.
then did a 2 year masters. By the time they're done with those 6 years and they finally score an internship and then finally a paid job in a city like New York, everything that they studied, most of it is just completely
Oh, for
outdated.
sure.
So,
Especially marketing.
yeah,
Marketing is
totally
changing
outdated.
like that,
Yeah.
and everything is like, like, if you don't understand, if you're in marketing, like, there's not a chance that colleges are teaching TikTok right now or video, like this type of stuff that's going on. And that's like live streaming. There's not a
Yeah.
chance there's a college course on live streaming,
No, no, no.
right? Or anything. So that's like, and that's a huge part of social media marketing right now. So, and that, to me, it just shows that, like, modern education, traditional higher education, is 5 to 10 years behind real world applications. And
Definitely.
if that's the case, what's the point of it? Depending on
Yeah.
your industry, but marketing, business, entrepreneurship, you need to get real world education. You need to get internships with startups. You need to get internships with marketing agencies. You need to be on the front lines of technology and software and see what people are really using.
Yeah, definitely. There definitely needs to be more for entrepreneurs. I really believe that. And we're the people that are going to rebuild, even after this COVID phase. So instead of like handing us loans and those kind of things, there just needs to be more money, that just more grants. There are some, but there needs to be many more grants for the
100%.
amount of people.
I don't know why the government doesn't give people do the same thing, except instead of a loan, and you can even do a loan, you can give startups a loan for $100,000 at whatever 3 or 5% interest, whatever, and also take a 5% equity stake in the company. Almost every startup would be totally cool with that. Now the government is making money on the repayment of the loan. So they might lose some companies default, whatever, go to zero. But some of the big companies that end up being billion-dollar companies, or they get an exit, now the government makes profit on that as well. So if you do it correctly, have people submit a business plan, go through a simple vetting process just to make sure they have a legitimate company, they're solving a legitimate problem, they have a business plan and a business model, and they're like ordinary people that aren't trying to scam the system. Give them a loan, take a percent equity. It's a win-win. It would be a huge moneymaker for the government.
Yeah, I mean, there'll be so much money back in the treasury without even worrying about the tax part. But governments are betting on people's losses, not them winning. It's a whole different topic.
Also true.
But yeah, man, thanks so much for joining me today. I got some great perspective from you, and I'm just getting perspective from different CEOs that I really believe in, and I definitely think Entre is like one of the leaders in this space, just from the goodwill that I've seen around you. So I think it's time that it's gonna keep moving forward. It already has, and just before we go, if you can just tell people about anything new, any offers with Entre, or where they could download the app, and also if there's any investors looking, are you raising any more rounds this year of investment, and what's going on?
Yeah, no, I appreciate that. It's always great to catch up with you for sure. So yeah, anyone who's interested in connecting with other entrepreneurs, diving into a community, it's free to sign up. You can just go to joinentre.com, just like the beginning of entrepreneur. And yeah, we would love to have anyone who's interested in doing that. And yeah, we're having conversations with investors. We're going to be doing a raise here shortly. So happy to have those conversations if someone's interested. And, we're always just for having, cool people, interesting people, who really fit this new way of like, really not just like working, but also living, right? It's like, we want to help people build their own lives, their own careers, being self-employed, creating that freedom, flexibility to do whatever it is that they want. So, yeah, man, always a pleasure. Thanks, Addy.
Thanks so much, man. All right, have a nice day and good luck.
You too.